Hello everyone, welcome back. If you've ever ordered fruit trees or any other kind of bush or shrub and you're just not sure what it's going to look like in your yard and you kind of think to yourself, do I want to put it there? Do I not? Here's a solution that could work for you. These are just branches from a maple tree. Actually, we had a large maple tree branch break off and fall into our yard from our neighbor's tree. So I thought, hey, let's put this to good use here. And all I did was stick them in the ground. And what that allows me to do is to kind of see, this is the sky that these trees are going to have. That's the southern sky, so nice and wide open. So this is a nice spot, but I thought, what are they going to look like here? Am I going to like them there? Am I not going to like them there? Are they going to be too big? And so I stuck a bunch of these branches together right in the ground, and they kind of look like a little apple tree, a little dwarf apple tree. And so it's kind of a plus that they have some buds on them and everything. So I just stuck some sticks in the ground. That was my original way of looking, but then I added some of these branches in there as well. So this is actually kind of a cool way. I've never done this before, but I thought, hey, I should show this because what this allows you to do is to see in the sky. There's the southern sky and the western sky, so it's going to get plenty of sun. But it also allows you to kind of walk around, look from different angles, walk around them, walk between them, and just sort of see, okay, when this tree gets some decent size, like a little Geneva 11 dwarf tree, what's that going to look like in relation also to these other trees nearby? So what's kind of cool about this, they're probably 15 feet away from these other trees, so there's plenty of space there. And as you can see here, when I turn around and look, okay, there's a nice huge path in between, no problem at all. They're also not going to block the vegetable garden. That's the southern sky there, so it's pretty much wide open. And in the summertime, one thing to remember too is the summertime sun is almost straight overhead, so that the angle is more, it's not 90 degrees, but it's a lot closer to it, depending on your latitude. And so, yeah, you can kind of look around and see these and say, okay, they're not going to block the vegetable garden because the sun's going to come from the vegetable garden direction. So the shade of these will never be shading anything in the vegetable garden because the sun will come from this direction, kind of at them, the direction we're looking there. The sun, that's like the sun ray is my hand there, if you can imagine. So these are never going to block the sun from the garden because they're on the north side. So that's actually something to think about too. You wouldn't want to put them on the other side of the vegetable garden, or you'll make your garden shady, at least the ones right next to the parts of the garden right next to the trees. So this is kind of a cool trick. Like I said, I found it to be really handy because as I filmed this, these have been in the ground for a couple weeks now, and I've been walking around looking at them. They've been covered in snow. They've been just bare like this, and so it kind of allows you to see and sort of get used to. And that's another part of it. You sort of get used to the look of a tree being there where there isn't currently one, and if you don't like it, you can just move these somewhere else and test another location, and so I have 2 trees to plant over here, and so that I think that's where they're going to go. One of the things when you have 30 fruit trees like we do is you don't have a lot of space, especially with these giant shade trees, basswood and a chestnut. We love those trees. I mean, they're part of our yard too, so we don't want to get rid of them or anything, but they do limit where you can plant gardens and or other kinds of trees. The other thing is I like to keep the yard wide open. I like to have a nice wide area that's open of the yard, and so I'm going to keep that. And so you have to tuck these into corners at a certain point. Over here in the corner, you can see the stake in the ground, and then a huge chunk of that maple. The maple there behind it that's where the branch broke off of, actually, that maple tree. It was a pretty good, like 4 or 5 inch branch snapped off. Luckily, it didn't hurt anything. It just fell in our yard, but missed everything, amazingly. So these are some cherry trees and plum trees back here along the fence. And so I thought, I've got a plum tree coming. That's a cherry there. But we got some decent southern sky right there. You can see right about to there. And then once that tree leaves out, this is going to be kind of like 5-6 hours of morning sun. Not really much afternoon sun, but these trees do really well back here. So that monster right there, when it leaves out, pretty much blocks the sky in that direction. But, it's kind of like one of those things when you have trees. Cool old trees are something you can never have again if they're cut down. So they really are a blessing, but they also are something you have to work around for your gardens. but that's going to be where I stick the plum there. So thank you for watching. Hope this was helpful for you. It really is kind of a fun idea, and once you get sort of used to the visual of where these trees are and you're happy with them, you know that when you get your fruit trees, you can put them in the ground and leave them, which is the ideal situation, because although you can move your fruit trees later, it's always best to just put them where they're going to be and let them just grow.